Welcome back to the All Walk Sociology channel, everyone. Today we're tackling a big topic, safety. It's something we all want, right? Basic human need stuff.
While feeling safe and secure is fundamental, after reviewing the research, it's clear that safety isn't guaranteed equally for everyone in Canada.
Exactly. Even though Canada's overall crime rate has actually declined over the past 30 years, that doesn't mean everyone feels safer. The reality is that certain groups still face a disproportionate amount of crime and injustice.
And that's our focus today, the unequal distribution of safety. We're going beyond the headlines to unpack why some communities experience more crime and more criminalization than others.
That's a great starting point, because crime isn't just about individual wrongdoing, it reflects deeper societal inequalities. For instance, Indigenous peoples make up just 5% of the Canadian population but represent 25% of homicide victims. That's shocking.
Absolutely, and that ties directly into systemic discrimination and colonial policies. The National Inquiry in 2019 even labeled the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls as genocide, highlighting how deep-rooted and severe these issues are.
And it's not only Indigenous communities. Black Canadians experience significant disparities as well, facing disproportionate policing and incarceration rates. The justice system itself can perpetuate harmful stereotypes by targeting these communities more heavily.
And then there's gender-based violence, which remains vastly underreported. Despite awareness campaigns, women, particularly Indigenous women, remain significantly vulnerable to violence and lack proper support systems.
Right. Intersectionality matters here. For example, Indigenous women represent 22% of intimate partner homicide victims, highlighting how race and gender compound vulnerability.
Exactly. And let's not forget the LGBTQ+ community. Hate crimes targeting LGBTQ+ individuals have increased by nearly 60% in 2023 alone. Clearly, violence is intensifying rather than declining in some areas.
It also extends into digital spaces. Young people, particularly young women, are increasingly targeted by cyberbullying, creating new challenges in ensuring their safety.
So, when we talk about crime, it's essential to recognize it's not just about law enforcement. It's fundamentally about social conditions like poverty, racial discrimination, inadequate housing, and lack of access to services. All these factors contribute to increased vulnerability.
Right. And this brings us to sociological theories that help us understand why this inequality exists. For example, functionalism argues that crime actually serves societal functions by reinforcing social norms.
And there's strain theory, which explains crime as a response to people's inability to achieve societal goals through legitimate means. In other words, desperation can push people toward criminal activities.
Conflict theory further adds that laws often protect the powerful. It emphasizes how crimes committed by wealthy individuals or corporations, like fraud or environmental harm, frequently go lightly punished compared to crimes committed by disadvantaged groups.
Then we have social constructionism, highlighting how criminal behaviors aren't inherently wrong, but become criminalized due to societal values and power dynamics.
And feminist theory reminds us that gender significantly shapes our understanding and experience of crime, spotlighting systemic issues like gender-based violence.
Understanding these theories is essential, but how can we apply them practically? How can we move toward a society where safety truly is equitably distributed?
Addressing this requires systemic change. We need to tackle inequality directly. Poverty, racial discrimination, lack of access to healthcare and education, all of these amplify vulnerability to crime and victimization.
That means we need to go beyond policing. It's about community-led initiatives, restorative justice programs, and confronting systemic discrimination head-on.
Absolutely, we've seen some steps forward like recent policing reforms addressing racial profiling, but meaningful change also comes from grassroots movements advocating for equity and justice.
Exactly. Organizations like Black Lives Matter Canada and feminist advocacy groups are making critical strides. Legal cases, such as Jane Doe v. Metropolitan Toronto Police, have also set crucial precedents for victims' rights.
Ultimately, ensuring equitable safety in Canada requires addressing the root causes of inequality. This isn't just about social justice, it's essential for building genuinely safe communities.
So here's the key takeaway. True safety means dismantling systemic inequalities, prioritizing restorative justice, and creating an environment where everyone, no matter their background, is equally protected and supported.
Exactly. And that leads us to a critical question. Given Canada's historical and ongoing systemic discrimination, what fundamental societal changes are necessary to guarantee true safety for all?
It's a big question, but it's the right one to ask. And that's what we want to leave you thinking about today.
Thanks for joining us for this important discussion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below.